The Blackwood Motel. Episode 6. Beneath the motel. The basement door slammed shut. Bang! The sound echoed through the underground tunnels like thunder. Sheriff Walter rushed to the door and pulled on the handle. It wouldn't move. "Locked!" he shouted. My flashlight trembled in my hand as I turned toward the darkness. The other Ethan was gone. So were the pale figures. Only silence remained. Then, clink. A metal chain scraped across the concrete floor. The sound came from deeper inside the basement. Slow, deliberate, like something was dragging it behind. Walter whispered, "Don't make a sound." The chain stopped. For a moment, everything was still. Then, hundreds of whispers surrounded us. "Ethan, help us! Don't leave us!" The voices came from every direction. Some sounded like children. Some sounded elderly. Some sounded like people crying. Others sounded like they had forgotten how to be human. The wall of names. We continued deeper into the basement. The flashlight beam revealed thousands of names carved into the walls. Some were faded with age. Others looked freshly carved. Then I noticed something strange. Some names had lines drawn through them. Others glowed faintly. Walter stared at the wall. I never noticed that before. I reached out to touch one of the glowing names. The moment my fingers touched the wall, everything changed. The vision. I wasn't in the basement anymore. I stood inside a busy motel lobby. Families laughed. Children ran across the floor. A receptionist welcomed guests. The motel looked beautiful, brand new. Outside, the sign read, "Blackwood Motel Grand Opening, October 1978. A wealthy man in a black suit stood proudly beside the owner. People applauded. Then, the lights flickered. Once, twice, 3 times. Every clock inside the motel stopped. Exactly at 2:13 a.m. The wealthy man smiled. Then he whispered words I couldn't understand. The floor beneath the guests cracked open. Darkness poured upward like smoke. People screamed. The walls twisted. The hallway stretched impossibly long. Doors multiplied. The motel changed. One by one, the guests disappeared into the darkness. Their screams echoed forever. Then everything went black. I gasped and stumbled backward. Walter caught me before I fell. "What happened?" "I saw the first night." His face turned pale. "The beginning?" I nodded. "The motel wasn't always evil." Walter lowered his head. "I was afraid you'd say that." "What do you mean?" He sighed deeply. "It wasn't built." I stared at him. "What?" "The motel was found. The hidden chamber." As we searched deeper, my flashlight revealed a rusted iron door. Unlike every other door in the basement, this one had no handle, only strange symbols carved into its surface. At the center was a handprint. Fresh blood covered it. Without thinking, I placed my hand on it. The symbols began glowing crimson. Walter shouted, "Ethan, move!" Too late. The wall rumbled. The iron door slowly opened. Cold air rushed out. But it wasn't just cold. It felt alive. Inside was a massive underground room, far larger than the motel itself. Impossible. The ceiling disappeared into darkness. Thousands of candles burned without melting. Chains hung from above. At the center stood an enormous black tree. Its roots spread throughout the chamber, growing into the walls, into the floor, into the ceiling. The roots weren't made of wood. They looked like veins. They pulsed slowly, as though blood flowed through them. Walter whispered, "My God." Then we noticed the faces. Human faces, hundreds of them, embedded inside the tree. Eyes closed, expressions frozen in terror. The missing guests, still alive. A slow clap echoed through the chamber. Clap, clap, clap. The caretaker stepped out from behind the tree, tall, perfectly dressed. His white eyes reflected the candlelight. He smiled. "I've been waiting for you," Walter raised his shotgun. "Stay back!" The caretaker laughed. "You've tried that before?" Walter froze. "What?" The caretaker looked at me. "You've both been here." "Many times." My heart pounded. "That's impossible." "No." He smiled wider. "You simply don't remember." The final revelation. The caretaker pointed toward the tree. One face slowly opened its eyes. My breath caught in my throat. It was my father. Older than I remembered. Weak, but alive. He looked directly at me. His lips trembled. "Ethan." Tears filled my eyes. "Dad?" He struggled to speak. "Don't." The tree suddenly tightened around him. Roots wrapped around his neck. The caretaker smiled. "He still fights." I lunged forward. Walter grabbed my arm. "No!" The chamber shook violently. The roots began moving. Every face inside the tree opened its eyes at once. Thousands of voices whispered together. "Run! He's waking up! Run!" The ground cracked beneath our feet. From beneath the roots, a gigantic eye slowly opened. It wasn't human. It wasn't animal. It was something ancient. Something that had been sleeping beneath the motel for centuries. The eye turned and looked directly at me. A deafening roar shook the chamber. The candles went out. Complete darkness swallowed everything. End of episode 6. To be continued in episode 7, The Caretaker's Truth.